Okay, so here we go. Here are some colors that I've laid out, sort of like a dark brown, a medium tone brown, and something more along the lines of like a ochre yellow. And I'm looking at my reference, and a fossilized skull is no longer bone. It's effectively like stone or some sort of mineral now. So what we want to do is kind of dapple. My thought process right now is that I want to sort of dapple on a kind of a light color that will serve to be a bit of like a texture. I think that's the best way to think about it is we're thinking about textures rather than like painting hues and values and tones onto the skull. We're thinking more along the lines of a general texture that can be applied to the whole model. And I think also while we're talking about texture, the best way to apply said texture is with a sponge. At least that's been my experience. So let's get out the old sponge too, which is where exactly? Here it is. Here's the sponge. And we can even get a bit of the other colors kind of like mixed in and not perfectly mixed. And here we go. Let's just dabble this on. Let's also brush off any dust. That's also a good idea. Make sure there's no dust particles that'll get trapped between the layers of paint. Okay, here we are. The first painting of today. The first actual touching of paint. So in the past, I've painted skulls before. Skulls and bony elements on models, and again, I've attempted to kind of create more of a texture rather than like your straight up like bone colored bone, which is a weird sentence, I realize. But when I've done that in the past, I've actually just stippled the paint on, which is to say that I've like basically gone in with a brush, a very small brush, and just dabbled and dabbed the paint, just with a normal brush, dot dot dot, just like that. And I think the results were pretty good. However, it was rather time consuming, and so now I'm attempting to do the very same thing, however, with a sponge, and I think I'm liking the results. It's just human nature to create an organized pattern into something that's supposed to be very random. That's been my experience. And so if you use a sponge, you can sort of avoid the human tendency to create like a set pattern. And we can make a smaller sponge to dabble this with if this becomes a little too large and we need a bit more precise work. We can kind of do that, which I think I might do. But let's just kind of carry on. I keep on seeing stuff like I'm gonna go change my brush, I'm gonna use a smaller implement, and then I don't. Okay, so yeah, this is as a base to work on. We're sort of creating a texture. It's not 100% there yet. We're gonna sort of build towards that. So let's sort of mix this. And my brush is wet. For this purpose, you don't really want a wet. You want the paint to be wet, of course, but not like water wet. Not too water. You kind of want a bit of stickiness, tackiness to the paint. It'll help you create like those precise dot textures. Night Trap, I got you. Peace tea, do you want it? I'm okay for now, Night Trap, thanks though. Sweet, what flavor was it? And what's this What's this GIF that you emote that you have here? Roach v Celebrate. Where's that from? What's up, Night Trap? By the way, Peace Tea. Might grab that later. It's starting to. I've heard some storm, some thunder, so I'm a little scared. Might be a prematurely early ending to the stream today. We will see. We will see. Okay, so again, we're just sort of dotting this around with our sponge. But now I'm really going to use a smaller sponge, because this sponge that I currently have is a bit too big. And I thought I had some straws somewhere here. Did I not have some straws? A straw is a pretty useful tool to use to dab your paint, but I cannot seem to find one, so that is okay. We'll just use tweezers or something. But I'm also going to cut this sponge. This is too big. Not Slide, what is up, Not Slide? How's it going? Not Slide with the sub. Yo, thanks. I really do appreciate it. Thanks, man. How you doing? What's up? Kentuan, but one of my favorite drinks is chili lime pineapple soda. Whoa. That sounds wild. Chili lime? What brand is that? A random gift sub, eh? Roach? Are you a... What does this Roach stream, Night Trap? I like his gifts, at least. He's got that going for him. Alright, so I need... Carmi! How's it going, Carmi? What are you up to? I am currently looking for one of these things. Oh, there we go. There we go, I have one right here. How's it going, Carmi? So, here we are with our giant, frost giant. We are close. We're getting close, guys, to finishing this chap up, this fellow. I'm just working on the horns, and once that's done, it's really the base. And the base in itself is going to be quite a long process, so maybe I won't incorporate that into my completion requirement. But if I can just finish the model itself, I'll be pretty happy with that, and then we can worry about the base at a more relaxed pace, I suppose. You're working! That paint job though. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get a nice close look at our handsome friend here. The frost giant. You know, he's coming along. I'm pretty happy with it so far. This is one of those times where I bought this model and I immediately wanted to diverge from the official paint scheme. And I had this idea in mind that he'd be more of like a frost giant. And yeah, I feel like I've gotten like 80% close to like the vision that I had in my mind for this model. You know, I feel like as an artist, whether you're like an artsy-fartsy artist, an illustrator, a model builder, anyone that works in arts or crafts, like one of the biggest challenges as a creative person is trying to get that idea that you had in your head and making that real. Like, how do you realize that? How close can you get to that idea in your head? Do you have the skills? Do you have the, you know, the know-how to achieve that look? And that's something where, you know, on occasion I can get to that point where like I'm happy with how the model looks. I've really gotten close to that image in my mind, and today is one of those days. I see Kentuan is following people in chat. It's good, everyone's getting along. So what are you currently working on there, Carmi? I know that you were building a model off stream. It was was it a Zaku? I want to say it was a Zaku. So I wonder. Oh, you bought a bunch of stuff, like another wood model kit, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty cool. Okay, here we are. Now we're going to continue to dab with the sponge. And we're gonna get lighter at the tips of the tusk. A goof! I goofed. How could I be so wrong? For shame. And yes, that will be a huge project. The wood, what was it, a carousel or something? It's pretty cool. So I take it that you enjoyed building the first one. Yeah, it did look really cool. The castle in the sky, pretty neat. I saw Eddie working on the, what was it, the marble thing. And that was cool, but it seemed like it could get kind of annoying. Oh, this new one, I done goofed. It's a music box carousel with LEDs. LEDs now. We got LEDs. Nice. Kentuan, always like helping small streamers out. Is Carmi a small streamer though? I don't know. I think she's big time. I think Carmi's is Hollywood. She's streaming royalty over here. Yeah, I actually am very close to finishing up my Maydroid Chloe model that you saw previously. That was the cat maid girl. I'm pretty close to finishing that. I've got to paint like her gold parts. And after that, I need a new model. So yeah, I'm thinking what exactly am I going to do? Big time for me is people who are already famous in the platform. That was from Kentuan. Carmi, but I'll be doing a collab with Eddie on Saturday. I'm not sure what to build yet. But after that, I'll have to put it all on hold for a few weeks. Oh, you're moving? Oh my gosh. Are you excited? Are you excited for moving? Are you prepared? Cause yeah, like 2 years ago, I moved, and it was it was hell. To put it frankly, it was emotionally draining, and I was like, please, hopefully I don't have to do this again too soon. In fact, I moved twice within a very small period of time, and it wasn't fun. I wouldn't recommend it, especially, so this was about 2 years ago, so this is like the height of the pandemic. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Moving more than once within a small time frame, and in the middle of a pandemic, I'm not gonna recommend it. I moved 11 years ago, and it was a fucking hellhole, I imagine. You're very excited. Hired movers? Yeah. See, that's the strat. That is the strat. Carmi, see? She knows what's going on. Okay, so now going in with a brush, and I'm going to just kind of pick out some details along the raised edges, sort of like following the light source here. Yeah, hiring some movers, that's a brilliant idea. It's worth it. It's worth it. However much they cost, it's worth it, because I'm fairly certain that moving shaved off like at least a solid month off of my entire lifespan just from the frickin' stress. I've moved a handful of times in my entire life. Canton was talking about how many times he's moved. I've moved a handful of times. However, a number of those times was due to school, right? And so I kind of don't count that. You know, you're kind of just moving back and forth from my place in college. Mixing up my my terms here, but yeah, from my place in college to from residence to like my home, family home, or sometimes not residence, but like the house that I was staying at in college. So again, I'm just sort of picking out these details, and yeah, this skull is a raised detail. There's like cracks along the skull. We're gonna try and pick that out too. Ah, it's because of your dad's work, Antoine. Okay. You know, so I was saying earlier that I was looking at reference for this skull, trying to make it look more like a fossilized skull rather than like a fresh bone skull, if we can call it that. And I was looking at mammoth skulls because presumably this skull here is intended to be a mammoth skull, right? It's got the huge tusks and these large cavities, which again, it's supposed to be the eyes. But in looking at, where's my sword of pointing? In looking at reference, this does not look like a mammoth skull at all. The only real similarity would be the huge tusks here. But when we look at the eyes, this is not how the skull of a mammoth would look. Because, you know, if you look at elephants, their eyes are oriented to the sides of the head. So actually, possibly this sort of cavity here that you're seeing would actually be the eyes for this model here. Which begs the question, what are these two holes? So, and I think that was a weird art direction thing, or perhaps possibly a joke from the sculptor. Because a long time ago, so let's get into history. Let's get into anthropology, guys. So, a long time ago, Mika, what's up, Mika? A long time ago, ancient man discovered mammoth skulls, and they thought that they were cyclopses, right? They thought that these giant skulls were the skulls of a cyclops. And why is that, you may ask? Because, and again, you can look at elephants for this as well. Right here where you see these two eyes, these two eye sockets, would actually be a singular sort of cavity, which was the nasal, we could call it kind of like the nasal cavity of an elephant or a mammoth, right? You know, the big trunk, right? And that trunk leads up to a hole. And that hole was kind of placed centrally on the skull here, where you know, again, the Celts or whatever would see these things, and they would think that that hole was like the eye hole for a giant cyclops, right? And look at what do we have here. This is a cyclops, right? So it's a little bit of a joke, perhaps, from the sculptor or the designer that this mammoth skull has two eye holes for a cyclops, where ancient man believed that the actual mammoth skulls would be from cyclopses because of the one single cavity. Interesting. Interesting in a boring kind of way. Mika popping in as I read about data sheets to see if I could add anything else to my Gene Stealer cult army. Oh, cool. Must be coming along quite well there, Mika, your Gene Stealer cults. Mika, are you sure it's not a skull of something in the fantasy universe? That's very true. That is very true as well. I'm not... Well, yeah, I've played a decent amount of Magic the Gathering. However, I'm not entirely sure what that could be. That would bear the similarity to a mammoth, and yet have two eye holes. I don't know. But you're right. It could be something from the fantasy universe. I don't know. Ba ba ba. So yeah, we're getting a little lighter with this stuff here, and we're just kind of working it in. And I'm realizing that I need to get a bit more detail into the cavities alongside the head, so we can do that, not a big deal. Might add a bit of brown to it, maybe even blue. One thing I want to kind of get better at is sort of drawing a straight line. that sounds very rudimentary, but what I mean is kind of painting a bit more cleanly, painting like edges and lines cleanly. I think that it's possible. It's just that, for one thing, I need to sort of shape up my brushes and get them at a nicer, sharper point. I know that there's like tutorials out there online about how to sharpen your brushes, create a finer point with them. So I need to study up on that. Mika, yes, I brought the Orc-Dakajet kit. Oh yeah, I remember you thinking about that. Just need to unbox it and convert it, looking at fast attack options and seeing if I can make it fit my army theme. Yeah, I think you might be able to do that. That would be really cool. I know you have an Instagram, but I don't know if you've really updated it or anything. You should definitely get on that. Be an easier way to take a look at your progress and stuff. I think you were saying you have a Pinterest though, or was that someone else? That could have been someone else. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's go backwards now. Oh, it was you that that has Pinterest? Nice, nice. Kentuan, do you play card games, Mikazuki? Where'd that come from? Where'd that question come from, Kentuan? Very odd. Okay. Let's go back into the darker recesses and kind of dab a bit more color here. I'm thinking about adding a bit more blue into the cavities too. Ooh, see, that was a bit too much. Okay, not bad, not bad. I really do think I need to kind of, because you said about Magic the Gathering. Right, this character is from Magic the Gathering, however, he's not from the actual, like this model isn't actually used in Magic the Gathering. Mika plays Warhammer. Warhammer 40k. None of this Magic card bullshit. Actually, I like Magic too. I kind of got into Magic somewhat recently, within the last few years, but I'm a lot more familiar with the world of Warhammer than I am Magic the Gathering. All right, so let's create some lines here. And we're just gonna kind of lightly do this. He is indeed, Kentuan. Yeah, for those that don't know, Mikazuki here, I believe he discovered me when I was painting some Warhammer stuff. I haven't painted Warhammer stuff recently, but it's always on the horizon. Used to play a bunch of Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, did you really? What kind of deck did you play in Magic the Gathering? What was your color? What was your favorite card in Magic the Gathering? I'd play more Magic, to be honest. I'd probably play more, but man, it's very hard to keep up with it. Like, if you want to sort of maintain relevancy in a sense and compete, you kind of have to study the game and watch a lot of stuff and pay attention to the latest meta, do a lot of research, and yeah, I'm not about that, to be honest. I just like throwing down the cards. Ah, Mika, I did pick up a Magic card pack, but I used the inspiration. Yeah, the artwork in MTG is just amazing. Really, really great stuff. It's actually a shame that the artwork on Magic cards is actually just so small. You know what I mean? Like half the card is informational text, right? And then half the card is artwork. Maybe even less than half of the card is artwork. And it's a bit of a shame, right? Because the artwork is so good. And as a matter of fact, Mika, it might be of some interest to you that some Warhammer artists have worked on Magic the Gathering as well. He's no longer with us now. He died, but Wayne England, one of my favorite artists, painted a lot of cool dwarves and goblins and orcs for Warhammer. He also did a lot of similar artwork for Magic the Gathering. I used to play vampires. I have like actually I have a couple of decks in MTG. I made like a vampire deck. I have like 2 or 3 white decks. Um, yeah, I just make like really basic decks, and I don't really have a good strategy in mind. I just like okay, green. Let's just get all the green cards together. Uh, oh, okay, let's make a dinosaur deck. Let's just get a bunch of dinosaur cards. That's all I do, and then I just try and see. I just try and see how well that'll perform. You know, I don't have like synergies in mind or anything. I did a mono green beast aggro deck. It was decent, not the greatest deck, but it did me wonders. Oh, interesting. So did you play at stores, Kentuan? Okay, so we're working. At a certain point, we will have to just stop, you know, because we don't want to overwork this skull. This is looking okay right now. I think what we'll do is kind of add another layer of dabbing some colors, dabbing some paint onto here. See where that gets us. And another thing I'll do, we're gonna stop soon with this skull, and I want to work on the metal a bit more. Mika, favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card is Keeper of Dragon Magic. Favorite Pokemon card is Zera Aura. And my favorite Magic cards are Red Dragon and Targnar, Demon Fanged Gnaw. Ooh. Kentuan, local tournaments and small gatherings. Oh, damn. Kentuan the Gathering. Kentuan. Magic Kentuan of the Gathering. That's sweet, dude. Pretty cool. Played 3 local tournaments and 5 small gatherings. I won more gatherings than tournaments because at gatherings I was the best. But tournaments there was more professional players that were better than me. I see. Yeah, that's how it is, eh? There's always someone. There's always someone out there that's just gonna push your shit in.